Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to be here at today's event. Just over 2 years since the Prime Minister Theresa May's landmark Modern Slavery Act came into force, impressive progress has been made in raising awareness of this barbaric crime. And I'm pleased to say this has turned the UK into a hostile place for those that would exploit vulnerable people for profit. 3 years ago, this sickening crime was firmly restricted to the shadows. The term modern slavery was hardly used in the public consciousness, while it remained a brutal reality for thousands of people living all around us, often imprisoned in plain sight. We in the UK are now painfully aware of the suffering being inflicted every day, and thankfully we are seeing new prosecutions brought every single month, and importantly thousands of innocent people and victims protected. I'm pleased to say that the UK government has also recently announced changes to the national referral mechanism, which improves our ability to identify and support victims. But the problem is far from solved, and it's not going to be without further action to develop our knowledge. Earlier this year, the UK Home Office undertook a comprehensive analysis of the nature of modern slavery in the UK. We are already ahead, I think, of most countries in terms of assessing the scale of the issue we face, with an estimated 10 to 13,000 potential victims. What we needed and wanted to know was more about the type of crime to enable us to help build on a very limited evidence base. And our research identified 17 distinct types of modern slavery, broken down into 3 broad groups: domestic servitude, sexual and criminal exploitation. This knowledge is essential to developing the best possible response to this awful crime, and we will use it to improve our understanding of how to prevent people falling into slavery. And it will help us to develop further guidance to frontline workers, while helping banks and other institutions identify patterns of behaviour so that they can disrupt these predators and help us raise further awareness of this abuse. But no matter what we do to eradicate the inhuman crimes associated with modern slavery, success can only be achieved by looking beyond our own shores, taking the fight to the global stage, as modern slavery will be adopted as one of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And in September of this year, during a meeting at the UN General Assembly, 37 member states and observer states endorsed the Prime Minister's call to action to end forced labour, modern slavery and human trafficking. At the same time, the UK pledged to double its aid spending on modern slavery to £150 million. And of this figure, £33.5 million will be targeted at high-risk countries from where we know victims are regularly trafficked to the UK. I'm pleased to tell you that we'll be investing £3 million to tackle the issue here in Vietnam, from where we know so many victims are trafficked with the promise of a better life, only to find themselves enslaved in brothels or nail bars. This money will help catch offenders, support victims and help people from falling into slavery in the first place. And those who would profit from modern slavery are finding it far more challenging now to ply their trade today than at the start of 2015. While in the UK, victims have a support network which is without precedent. We have made significant progress in recent years, but it is vital that we continue to develop our knowledge, to adapt our tactics and invest both locally and globally if we are going to wipe out this abhorrent practice once and for all. As Theresa May has regularly stated, modern slavery is the great human rights issue of our time. I'm pleased to see an Association of Corporate Directors, and I very much appreciate the role of business in fighting